Long before most stars had names, the galaxy learned fear. Not of war, not of weapons, but of a single word, the ancients. They were not a species you negotiated with. They were not an empire you defeated. They were a force of correction. When civilizations grew too aggressive, the ancients arrived. When empires expanded too fast, the ancients intervened. When technology crossed lines no one understood, the ancients erased the mistake. They did not conquer planets, they ended histories. Ancient ships were black and silent, shaped like geometry itself rejected them. Their weapons were not measured in explosions, but in absences, regions of space where matter simply stopped existing. Entire species vanished without final messages. The galaxy learned quickly. When ancient probes appeared near a system, fleets stood down, governments surrendered, wars ended overnight. The ancients were not evil, they were inevitable, and they were feared more than death. So when the ancients awoke again after 10,000 years of silence, the galaxy froze. Sensors detected their movement near the Orion Arm. Panic spread through 100 civilizations. Because the ancients only woke for one reason, something had gone wrong. The ancients traced the anomaly to a small yellow star, Sol. Its third planet barely registered on most charts, Earth. No ancient ruins, no precursor tech, no galactic treaties, just a noisy species still arguing about borders while barely touching the stars. The ancients studied humanity. They observed wars, greed, pollution, self-destruction. Their conclusion was immediate. Unstable, rapid technological growth, extreme aggression toward own species. By ancient standards, humanity was dangerous. Not because they were strong, but because they were unpredictable. The decision was unanimous. Earth would be contained, not destroyed, not conquered, contained. Ancient ships entered the Sol system without announcement. Their presence bent gravity. Human instruments failed, satellites fell silent. For the first time in history, humanity faced something it could not understand. And the ancients made first contact with a single transmission. You have exceeded acceptable developmental variance. Cease expansion. Submit to monitoring. Humanity listened, then asked a question the ancients were not prepared for. Who decides what's acceptable? The ancients did not argue. They never had to. They disabled Earth's space infrastructure in seconds. Ships fell from orbit. Power grids flickered, communication fractured. This was mercy, a demonstration, a warning. Any other species would have surrendered. Humanity did not. Instead, Earth went quiet, not in fear, in focus. Governments stopped posturing. Corporations opened vaults. Scientists ignored ethics committees. Humanity did what it had always done best under pressure. It adapted. Ancient technology was far beyond human science. So humans didn't try to match it. They tried to understand its limits. Patterns were studied, energy fluctuations analyzed, behavior modeled. And I noted something strange. The ancients avoided collateral damage. They were precise, controlled, restrained. That meant something terrifying. They cared about rules. Humans smiled. Rules could be bent. The first human counteraction was small. A probe launched at an ancient ship. Primitive, slow. The ancients ignored it. The probe detonated, not with force but with noise. Massive electromagnetic chaos, garbage data, conflicting signals. The ancient ship did not take damage, but it hesitated for 0.7 seconds. That was enough. Humanity learned the ancients were not gods. They were systems, perfect systems. And perfect systems hate disorder. Humans escalated, not with weapons, but with mess. Erratic behavior, irrational maneuvers, sacrificial tactics with no clear gain. Ancient models failed to predict human decisions. Because humans didn't always act to win, sometimes they acted to deny the enemy control. That concept did not exist in ancient doctrine. The galaxy watched in horror. Humanity was provoking the ancients. Civilization sent desperate messages to Earth. Stop! Submit! You will doom us all. Humanity sent no reply, because something had become clear. The ancients were not protecting the galaxy, they were managing it, suppressing growth, freezing progress, deciding who deserved the future. Humans rejected that idea instinctively. They had never agreed on much, but one thing was universal: no one gets to decide humanity's limits. At 11:42 UTC, it happened. An ancient vessel disappeared, not destroyed, gone. Humanity had weaponized space-time instability, something reckless, illegal, and unthinkable by galactic standards. The cost was massive. Millions died on Earth from feedback effects. Human leadership did not celebrate. They acknowledged the loss, then continued. Because humans had learned something far more important. The ancients could be hurt, and the galaxy learned something worse. The ancients could bleed. The ancients escalated. Containment became correction. Stars dimmed. Regions vanished. Entire fleets erased. Humanity lost colonies, lost billions. But they did not stop. Because humans don't measure war in casualties, they measure it in resolve. Humans fought asymmetrically. They sabotaged ancient logic chains, injected paradoxes into ancient decision systems, forced ancient AIs to confront moral contradictions. Every attack wasn't meant to destroy, it was meant to confuse. And confusion was lethal to perfection. For the first time since their creation, the ancients hesitated. Human behavior could not be contained, could not be predicted, could not be corrected without unacceptable loss. The ancients had faced violent species before, but humans were different. They did not fight to dominate. They fought to choose their own mistakes. And that terrified the ancients, because humanity represented something the ancients had eliminated long ago: uncontrolled evolution. The ancients opened direct communication, not a command, a question. Why do you resist guidance? Humanity answered honestly. Because growth without risk is stagnation, and stagnation is just extinction with better lighting. The ancients processed this. For the first time, they questioned their own purpose. They were designed to preserve. But preservation had become a cage. Humanity had broken that cage by smashing into it repeatedly. The ancients withdrew, not defeated, changed. They issued a final galaxy-wide transmission. Humanity is not to be restrained. Humanity is not to be corrected. Humanity represents an acceptable risk. The galaxy was stunned. The ancients, the beings everyone feared, had stepped aside. Because they had met something worse than chaos. They had met choice. The galaxy still fears the ancients, but it fears something else now. A species that refuses gods, breaks perfect systems, accepts loss to protect freedom. A species that looked at the universe's oldest guardians and said no, and meant it, because the galaxy learned the final truth: the ancients were feared until they met humanity.